Welcome to Up In Smok'd Podcast. I'm here today with Mark Moloney.
Hello.
Welcome, Mark. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Leigh.
It's good to have you here. I'm another comedian. Thanks for joining us today.
It's lovely to be here. Cracking pub.
Thank you. You've been here before?
Oh, many times.
Many times.
I think I was barred from this venue for a while.
What?
That's not true.
I was going to say, do I know about this?
You imagine? Yeah. I cut all my hair off to get back in.
So you've been here before? I mean, not before my time, though. I've been here for 10 years. Has it been within that realm, yeah?
Within that time period,
cool. Okay, cool. For the comedy?
Just for the comedy.
Just for the comedy. Okay, cool.
Well, I've heard great things about the restaurants, so...
Cool. Okay, well, today you're going to be there.
I'm going to be part of it.
You're going to be right in the middle of it. So, yeah, cool. Okay, so we're just going to have a conversation today about a few things. So, you're a comedian. So, just like me, you did a course.
That's right, yeah.
You did yours 5 years ago. Your friends got you. Was that like a practical joke on you, or...?
Yeah, I mean, it was a birthday present that I took quite badly, I suppose, because they were saying, we think you need lessons.
Is that because you were already doing comedy?
No, I hadn't started.
So what were they saying you need lessons in? Just being funny in
maybe,
general?
Maybe, yeah. I'm not as funny as I think I am. But no, I'm joking. But yeah, I think they thought I would be quite well suited to it, which is nice.
Okay.
Actually, it was a really lovely gift, and but I didn't do it because I turned 30 just before COVID.
Right.
So I'm kind of glad that I didn't do the course initially, and I waited. I actually did the course 2 years ago.
Oh, it's just 2 years ago.
So I've only been going 2 years.
Oh, you're doing great for only 2 years.
That's kind of you, Leigh.
Yeah, and where did you do the course?
I did Logan Murray's course.
Me too.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. In the Museum of Comedy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I'm back there in a few weeks, so I'll mention your name.
Yeah, I've done a few of his, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that one. I did like a MC course as well.
Oh, yeah.
And,
is that good?
Yeah, but it was quite similar, I guess, but it's he's preparing you for MC, and so a lot shorter. But it's just cool. You meet cool people who are doing comedy, and it's interesting. But yeah, I did that in the Museum of Comedy as well, and then I did one of his courses in London Bridge near my pub there. It was, what would you call the building? But I'm not sure. But it was just around the corner from my pub. It was like around the corner from Snowfields. And that was a comedy writing course, I think, if I remember right. I can't remember, but yeah, it was cool. It's a cool place to start.
Yeah, I did. So I did his like intro to stand-up course 2 years ago, and like you say, it was great. I was very nervous. I don't know how you were, because it was before I'd performed. And it's amazing to see. I think that one of the great things about the course is it just kind of eases you in. It's a very gradual introduction. Building up stage time and getting used to being on stage and stuff. So,
did you find that in the actual course that it got you prepared by easing you in?
I'd say so, because I remember in like the first week when we were introducing ourselves to everyone, and how nervous I was even doing that.
Right.
Like my body language was so closed. I was like hiding behind a chair. I wasn't making eye contact with anyone.
Yeah.
And then in the weeks that progress, as you gradually get on stage, and you've written something for your homework or whatever, and you're going to go perform it in front of your fellow students, the nerves I had just to get up in front of them in what was a really supportive room.
Yeah.
My heart was like tearing a hole in my chest. And whereas now, as you'll know, when you go on stage in let's say a low stakes environment, there's no nerves whatsoever. So
yeah. Well, I actually find it slightly different, I guess, because I think I missed a week of the 6. I guess 6 weeks.
Okay, that was the crucial week. Okay,
I think it was because I went from we were playing these games, games that you do in any kind of drama class or whatever, and then I think I missed a week, and then I came back the week after, and he was telling everybody to get up and do their 5 minutes. I'm like, what? I don't feel like we've done anything yet. And then I think we did it the week after again to practice, and then the week after was the actual one. But like my intention was to not come to the showcase.
Oh really? Why?
I just never had any intention. I think maybe I signed up probably with a genuine intention, and then I thought to myself, "There's no way I'm getting on a stage and doing comedy. It's not going to happen."
Right.
And then it was on the day that I woke up and I felt okay. I was like, "Oh, I could do this."
Yeah.
And I just remember how being totally fine just until that moment before I had to get up. and then completely like, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? But and then I got up and I remember the nerves wearing off as he called out my name, and I went to the stage, and it completely wore off. The adrenaline took over for like 15 seconds and then wore off again. And then I was just on stage, I guess, here, but still seemed to do okay for our first one. But didn't do.
So was that your first ever spot? Your first ever
performance? First ever, and then the next one was a long time after. It was like 6 months at least after I did the Lion's Den on Shaftesbury Avenue.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did okay there. And yeah, that's and then just didn't really do it that much after.
Okay.
Did you go straight in? You did it and then you just kept doing it?
Yeah, I was having a look. I was just having a look the other day, and I track all the performances that I've done, and I kept it up. I was doing about 2 a week probably back then.
Okay.
But yeah, I can relate to the nerves. I mean, I think that showcase was the most nervous I've probably been in my life. And I could feel myself physically shaking.
Yeah.
On stage, you know. And I think it wore off just as I finished, so I never got to actually be relaxed.
Yeah, and enjoy it. Yeah. Whenever I look back at the clip of it, everyone said to me it's weird how you're not nervous at all. I mean, for me, I'm seeing this guy completely white face. I can hear his mouth moving because it's so dry and talking like this. And because it was just pure nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even after that, I remember doing a gig here, and it was maybe my third gig in total I was doing. And just before it, I remember I was like stressed out. I was like, what the hell am I doing trying to get on a fucking stage and do comedy for?
Yeah.
I was getting all worked up, like, what am I doing this for? But then now it's like no big deal. But then this is years later of not doing it consistently, but doing plenty over that period of time.
Are you still doing any of the material you were doing from day one?
Is there any? No, not from the first set. No.
Okay.
You?
I don't think so, actually. I mean, I think some of the themes have stayed the same, but I've enhanced those bits and ultimately dropped all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all dreadful, if I'm honest with you.
But there's some. I know for a competition last year in the same room, I took back an old piece from maybe the first set I'd done, but I had trimmed it right down because in the beginning you're just saying all this stuff, all these words, and then you realize that the less you say, the better.
Yeah.
It's just faster, isn't it? It gets to the point. But yeah, pretty much all changed.
Okay.
Because I think my first one was me making fun of my son, and I have actually got more jokes about him now, but I feel like they're slightly more advanced.
Sure, yeah.
Taking the piss out of him on another level now. So
I like it.
But then you're really into adventure anyway, and risk taking and all this kind of stuff. You're
I suppose, yeah, you could say that
to an extent. Yeah, I mean, so like you do adventure holidays?
I did do a lot of that before. It's not something that I'm, as we were saying earlier, it's not something I'm super open about.
Yeah.
I guess because the whole travel bragging thing, and people don't want to hear about the trips that you've done. But yeah, I think over the last 15 years, I've done quite a few adventure travel type holidays. So whereas my girlfriend likes to go and sit on a beach and relax, I want to be out doing something and experiencing something. So I guess actually, I wonder if that whole comedy risk taking does fit in with the because I'm doing less of the adventure travel now because I'm doing so much comedy.
Yeah,
I can't really fit it in. Although we did buy a camper van, which isn't as adventurous, but
what's the purpose of the camper van? Where do you intend to go, or where have you been with it?
We bought it about a year and a half ago, and my girlfriend is one of her kind of business lines is that she does cacao ceremonies. I don't know if have you heard about cacao ceremonies?
No.
No, that's how I looked when she told me. But
okay.
It's she does. It's like a guided meditation where you drink cacao before, and she does these at festivals.
Oh, it is like this is kind of like DMT or something like that. There.
Not quite. But
no.
This is all above board.
Oh, it's above board.
Yeah. It's just pure chocolate.
And it's chocolate.
It's chocolate. Yeah.
Oh, cacao.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like creme de cacao when you make a cocktail.
Yes, of course, the publican in you takes it straight to the cocktail. But so she does that at Glastonbury, and she needed a camper van to make the cacao. So we bought the camper van, and then we've taken it off we've been to Wales, we've been to Cornwall. Hopefully we'll go somewhere a bit more adventurous, but it's good fun.
But you've done some stuff. So where was it you went to? Was it Mongolia you did?
Yeah, this is about 12 years ago. We bought I did the Mongol Rally. Have you heard of the Mongol Rally?
No.
Okay, so it is, the premise is you buy an awful car, like a 1 litre engine, over 10 years old, in order to make it make it harder and more interesting. Like, it's going to break down. And then you drive it from London to Mongolia, which is like, I think it was, I want to say 11,500 kilometres.
Wow, okay.
And it took us 6 weeks. And it's like a charity rally. There's loads of other cars doing it. I think there must have been like 200 cars. And we drove, and you can take whichever route you like. It's kind of unsupported rally. So we drove down through Europe. I think we got to Turkey in 40 hours. So it was non-stop driving, taking it in turns. There was 4 of us in a tiny Vauxhall Aguila. I don't know if you know.
No.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing you'd see your grand drive to the shops. We went down to Turkey, through the Caucasus to Azerbaijan, and then we took like a container ship or ferry. Yeah, it was a container ship over to Turkmenistan, across the Caspian Sea, and then drove through Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Russia, and then finished in Mongolia.
Wow. And how long did you say it took?
It was like 6 weeks.
6 weeks, so you kind of stopped off in each place, spent a day there, hung out with the Russians, and
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to have stopped more, because there's a lot to see. So we kind of hurried through Europe and spent a bit more time in Central Asia, but it was a great laugh.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
certainly not a holiday.
No.
Yeah.
But it still kind of is. It's a road trip, isn't it? So it's an adventure. It sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I liked. I think it's a great way to travel, right? You have total freedom. You can go wherever you want when you wake up in the morning, and finish up wherever you like. And crazy things happened every day, I think.
What kind of crazy things? What
kind of crazy things? Okay, the craziest was we were driving in Tajikistan on the border with Afghanistan. And you can basically, the border is a river, and we were driving on one side of the river, and you could see into Afghanistan on the other side of the river. And I was kind of stroppy, so I didn't like. We used to drive through the night a lot, and I just wanted to sleep. So I kind of insisted that we set up camp for the night, and it was in the middle of nowhere. We put our tents up. And there was like a storm brewing, and you could see the lights in Afghanistan the other side of the river. And these guys showed up in their car while we were kind of cooking. I was cooking Dagestan meatballs from a tin. These guys showed up, and they kind of walked up to us and were trying to talk to us, but they didn't speak any English. And one of the guys was talking to us. The other guy was trying to make a phone call, trying to connect a phone call. So we kind of concluded, okay, the first guy's stalling us, and the other guy's trying to get his mates down. And then we saw a blacked out Mercedes pulled up and kind of blocked our route to get our car out. And we thought, well, this isn't looking very good. And then we saw 2 other Mongol rally cars coming down, which was crazy because we hadn't seen anyone for a few days. Yeah. You could take any route you wanted to Mongolia. So the fact they were coming down this road, which was going to like the Pamir Highway, was unexpected. And they drove down, and it forced the Mercedes to move. And then we all kind of looked at each other and said, let's get in the car and just go. So we abandoned our camp and drove off, and then ran out of petrol like 5 minutes down the road. We had to fill the tank with a jerry can. I was looking for headlights down the road because basically the other guys concluded we were going to be abducted. Right. I thought they were just very friendly.
Yeah. You reckon you're like almost...
yeah, I said we should go to their restaurant. But yeah, it was quite sketchy. So
what year was this in?
This was in 2013.
2013. I'm not sure what was going on in the world at that point. Was it safe to be there? Or
I think it was safer. I mean, it's never been... they've had a civil war in Tajikistan, and Anyway, a place where it's sensible to be careful.
Yeah. So I've done a road trip as well.
Okay.
Well, I've done a few, but the one that's notable was in Australia.
Oh, cool.
When we took a camper van. I think it's my only camper van road trip that I've done. But we took a camper van from Sydney and we had to drive it to Perth. Okay. And we were given 5 days.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the cost is supposed to be $1 a day for the hire. Because you're effectively returning their vehicle for them from one place to the other. And they said to us, under no circumstance can you drive through the desert. We're like, yeah, no worries, we're not going to do that. Okay. But what we did instead is we drove up to Uluru, where the Ayers Rock is.
Yeah.
You know what's mad is we actually went 1,000 kilometers out of our way to go there. We stayed about 15 to 20 minutes. Took a photo of us with our trousers and pants down away in front of the rock, then got back in the van, drove off. We drove down a road called the Gun Barrel Highway. Didn't realize you're supposed to notify the police before you drive there, because there's it's basically one petrol station that doesn't sell petrol.
Right.
It sells aviation gas for airplanes.
Okay.
So we drove down that, and for every kilometer that we drove, we realized we were kind of in dangerous territory. For every kilometer that we drove, there was at least one vehicle, one car, upside down on its roof on the side of the roads. We got about halfway, and there was like a big truck with a quad bike on the back, and the door was open. It is in the middle of the desert, and nobody in it. So I don't know what the hell happened to that guy, but we got in the van, we drove off. And that was just a really weird trip. Like, there was a place that advertised ice creams and snacks. We're driving along with just a big sign saying, in this way, ice creams and snacks. We're like, we could do with an ice cream and a snack. No one questioned the fact that this is weird. It's like a mirage almost in the middle of a fucking desert.
Yeah.
So we drove in, and there was some kind of weird homes. They weren't quite caravans. I don't know how, but the closest thing I could describe them as was caravans. As we drove in, then all these kind of Aboriginal people just came out of them, and they started to surround the van. And then I was like, James, put your boot to the mat, put your boot to the mat. So he just drives. We just came straight out and went. And every now and again, you get a car with maybe 5 to 6 Aboriginals all kind of squashed in, and they come flying past us really drunk and all this, being mad. So, yeah, that was our road trip.
Okay, nice relaxing holiday.
Nice relaxing. Thing is, I'm similar to you, and like I like to do stuff.
Yeah.
But I haven't done enough adventure holidays. Like, I've never. that was me backpacking Australia, and that was mostly us just getting hammered every day. I don't know if that counts as being an adventure.
I'd say that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. I loved about that actually. That was a year backpacking, and we didn't do enough of the actual adventures, but it was us just getting hammered. Yeah. And like every day, because you're in a backpacker hostel, you just meet all of these other people, and there's like a table of drunken wisdom, and all these people just talking crap about their travels and stuff. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So what's next in your adventures, do you think?
What's next? I don't know. I haven't got much planned. I mean, what you say about drunken wisdom in hostels, I love that. I backpacked in South America for about a year.
Oh wow! Oh cool. Okay.
In Central America, and I just love those connections that you make, and travel with people for the next however long.
Did you go alone, or did you go with someone? Or?
I went on my own.
Your own, yeah. That's cool, isn't it?
Oh, it's the best way to do it, right? Because it forces you to go make friends, and
yeah.
I
went with my brother originally. We went together, and we were in this fruit picking place called Stanthorpe in Australia, just off the coast a little bit.
So were you working? Were you doing this sort of work away?
Yeah, doing some fruit picking. So we went there. He met this girl, who's now his wife, in this hostel that we're in. This is a Scottish girl, and she had a friend, this English girl. And he comes to me and he said, "Hey, Leigh, let's go travel with the two girls, Ashley and Stacey." And I didn't like them.
Okay.
At the time, because she's now his wife, she's really, really nice, actually. So I was like, listen, if you wanna go travel with them, you go and travel without me.
Yeah.
So he went traveling without me, and then I was just on my own. I was like, okay. So then I just met loads of people, and I kind of traveled with them, and had a brilliant time.
Sure.
You know, it's just I think that if I was doing it again, and hopefully at some point in life I will do it again, I would totally be happy to go alone and just do it, because you realize when you're there, you don't need anyone, because it's such a traveling culture. All the backpackers down the coast, all down there, all staying in hostels, and you just meet every day so many people to travel with. And it's just that I think that's the main part of the adventure. And
absolutely,
yeah, I'd love to do it again.
I mean, you're bringing back. I've got memories coming back now. You're saying these things of places I stayed and the things that happened, and I think as well, you being there on your own, you develop. I mean, you may have had this already, but you develop like a resilience and. You know, your confidence grows, and you become, you need to sort things out yourself. And I think, I came back a different person after.
You
after
do
that trip.
though. You know what? The big difference I think that I found, and I could be wrong, but before I was backpacking, with working in hospitality, you meet people every day, and I always think that my kind of measure, like to work people out, was the opposite. See if I thought someone was really cool and really nice, always turned out to be a cunt.
Oh, really?
Right? See if I thought someone was a cunt, they always turned out to be a really nice person.
Okay.
But after I came back from Australia, from meeting so many people every single day for a year, I really felt like I was on it. Like I could spot quite quickly if someone was someone I wanted to spend time with or not.
Yeah.
And that's just from being kind of forced to meet people every day.
Yeah.
You know, so that was the big change I found in myself in traveling. I don't know what else, but that was the main thing that I was kind of aware of myself.
Interesting,
you know? Unless I'm still wrong and I'm just hanging out with a bunch of cunts. I don't know.
They're just nice to your face. That's the...
Exactly, yeah. But I started to spot people, just things I would say that would give me a little... and then for the job that I do now, you kind of need it. You need to know who you're surrounding yourself with, so it does make a big difference. But you come back a changed man. What do you think was different in you?
I don't know. I think maybe things that I used to think were a big deal didn't matter anymore. I think I was a lot more relaxed, more confident probably. But yeah, I guess I got the travel bug. So each year I was trying to do a big trip, and I always knew what was coming up. Next year I'm going to do, this motorbike trip, or the following year. Which is kind of like, it's been a bit replaced with the comedy at the moment. I think.
Yes, do you think that's what it is then? Comedy is for people, because it's kind of like a skydive, isn't it? Or it's kind of like doing that solo trip or whatever, because it's one of those things that people consider like the bravest thing you can do. Yeah. Until you've done it loads of times, and you're like, no, it's not. To get up there the first time maybe, but then it isn't. So you've got to have that in you, where you can have a fear and do it anyway. So definitely, which kind of seems like that's who you are, because you want to do your traveling and stuff as well.
I feel like I'm getting some breakthroughs in my understanding of myself here.
There you go. That's what it's all about, mate. I studied psychology. I didn't pass, but I studied it.
Didn't get a grade, but
so let it all out. Let's find out who is Mark Moloney.
Just invoice me at the end.
Yes.
I guess actually that is an interesting point of comparison. I think. People say all the time, "Oh, you're so brave doing comedy." And, I think once you get past doing it initially, obviously that sense of danger maybe disappears. Yeah. But then I think it's important to keep pushing yourself and doing things that do spook you and do feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And just keep growing in that way. So
that's exactly how I see it. I think that if you keep doing comedy, then the fear is gone, and then it becomes like anything else in life. If you want to be good at it, it almost becomes a chore, but it's a chore with a reward. Probably, I've never really done it, but if you go to the gym regularly and you start to be like, oh, look at me, same kind of thing. But yeah, I think that's probably what put me into it, is that's the kind of risk, because like even skydiving, I'm doing a skydive in April this year.
Oh, awesome.
Which is the AFF one, where you just jump and you don't have a guy connected to you.
Have you done it before?
No, I did the tandem, and then I signed up to do this AFF a year and a half ago or something, and it was cancelled because of the weather. Okay. And I was really glad, like deep down, I was really glad it was cancelled. So I felt brave going there, but once I said, we can't do it because it's the weather's too bad. I was like,
Yeah.
but I was sitting there a little bit frustrated. So I keep watching these skydiving videos, and I was like, I have to do it, because if I don't, there's probably a few things in life I can't. There'd be a few things in life where I think, oh, I should have done that a long time ago, you know. And you realize, I think, especially now because I'm mid-40s, and you realize it is ticking, and your time is. I've even got the thing on the wall. I don't know if you've ever seen this advertised, but it's the. I forget how many weeks it is, but it's a week for every year of your life if you live to 88.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Is it counting down?
Yeah.
You got a clock on the wall counting towards your own death.
That clock would be better. Yeah.
But you've got 80 weeks left.
I wish I had a photo of it, but I think it's called the 4,000 weeks. I think 4,000. I won't do the sum right now, but if you live to 88, you've got 4,000 weeks.
Right.
So every Monday I put the dot on the next one.
Right.
And when you see it like that, and you see it as being finite.
Finite, yeah.
Finite, that's what I'm looking for, yeah.
So hang on, so you got this 4K week thing on your wall?
Yeah, so 4K week, is 4K life. Is it 4K? Can I just do I just really want to do the math in this here and just see, it's either 4K or it's 8K, but I want to know.
It makes sense it's 4,000, because that would be 80 years.
So 4,000 divided by 52 weeks in a year would be 76. Okay, so maybe it says 4K on it then, yeah, but I think it actually goes to 80. So maybe it's 4.2. I don't know, whatever it is. You know, something like that there. The point is, every week you put a dot onto it, and then you see your life as a whole. And I'm kind of sitting there in the middle of it now, and it really makes you think, fuck, what did I do this week? Did I do any of the things that's on my list? You know, and it keeps you focused on the things you want to do, because you could easily just pass time or kill time, or I want to get this day over and done with, or whatever. And then it really just kind of calibrates you, I think.
Yeah, keeps you focused.
It keeps you focused on the things you want to do. So I was watching all these skydiving videos. I tried to do it a year and a half ago, and they cancelled it. And then I kind of left. I was like, oh, that's a thing I want to do. And then when I put the data on, I'm like, no, I've got to do it now. So I went on and I booked it again for April. Hopefully it gets cancelled. No, only joking. I really want to do it. Because whenever I watch, because I always go too far in my head. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do the skydiving level 1, get up to level 8, then get the suit with the Red Bull on it and start doing the flying thing. And I started like really, that's where I want to be at. I mean, realistically, that's years of doing something weekly to get good enough at it, but it is one of the things that I really want to not just have done as an experience, but like on a Saturday I go and I do my skydive, and so.
Definitely. I remember as a kid I used to watch maybe as a teenager, the videos of the wingsuit stuff, guys jumping off.
I can watch them all day. It's compulsive viewing.
Thrilling, but I'm a coward, so I don't know if I could actually do it.
But the thing is, it's the same as, this is how I think it is anyway. I feel like it's the same as comedy, where people see you up there, or if you've never done any comedy and you see a guy performing to a room of 1,000 people or something like that, you're like, wow, he's so brave. But he isn't as brave as right now today as the guy getting up for the first time ever to 10 people. That's where the real bravery is,
definitely.
So I think with skydiving, doing that first one with the. Because what I want to do is the solo, but you get two guys there. They're not connected, but they're there. That's where I think the bravery is. And then once you on your 5th one or your 10th one, then it's more of a, I've got to go the whole way there, get my thing, and there's less fear. But yeah, it's still, yeah.
I guess that's the thing when you watch someone on stage in front of thousands of people, what you're not seeing is everything that's led up to that moment.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, the thing we were talking at the beginning about Logan's course, right? It's those, he's giving you those initial steps that get you ready to go and stand up in front of everyone, which people aren't seeing anyway. It might appear that you've just gone up and stood there, which would terrify people, but it's having, as you say with this skydiving, it's all the stuff building up to that, getting you ready for it. And
so with the course, what do you think you... which I did think before, and I know I've heard some people say they just got up and they just did it and stuff, but do you feel like you... What do you think you took from the course?
What did I take from the course?
To help you, like even today, that you learned?
It's hard to put a finger on a specific. I think it kind of took me out of my shell, I suppose. And got me going, I suppose. Yeah, difficult to say there's any one thing, but I wouldn't have. There's no way that I would have gone and got on stage without having done the course.
Yeah. So that'd be my main kind of case for it, because I know people say, some of them anyway think that the course isn't the way to go, but I think to get your first one on the stage, that is definitely, for me, the best way to just do it, and you're doing it with other people, and today is their first time as well. For me, what I think I took from the course, because I really think it was mostly just playing games, filling out the time until you get to that day and you get to know each other and you do it. But what I learned from Logan was the importance of, one thing, cutting all the fat off your joke.
Definitely, yeah.
So not just having, you see it a lot where people spend so long with a setup that you're already thinking about what you're doing next Tuesday or something, and so there's that. So I always trying to see, if I just cut that another bit, and the joke just gets more effective. But the other thing is the body language you talked about. You've got to be the most confident guy in the room, even if you're playing the low status or whatever. Yeah. You've got to be good out there, confident that you're funny. That you can do it. So you can see, I see a lot of the brand new comedians that'll go on to like Battersea on a Sunday night, like the newest ones, where they'll be like, now I'm gonna do stuff. It's not gonna be funny. Or don't expect this to be funny. This is you're gonna regret sitting through this. Or they say things to kind of, I guess it's self-depreciating, but it's just expelling. I'm not confident in what I'm gonna do here.
Absolutely,
I think even if your joke's not funny, you got to stand there like you think it is. If no one's laughing at it, So
I think that's a bit of a pet peeve for me when people do that and they kind of acknowledge that. They're almost saying, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the crowd will probably agree.
Yeah, exactly. They take it on and go, okay, fair enough. This is going to be a terrible 5 minutes. So
thank God it's only 5. And I'm guilty of it as well. Like if I try something new for the first time and it bombs, I'll then acknowledge it bombing, which could get a laugh.
Yeah. But it can work for you, can't it? Yeah.
It can work for you in that moment, but then I think it probably undermines you for the rest. If you don't acknowledge it, then you're still in character. Yeah. Whereas if you acknowledge it, then maybe you break character.
Yeah, I think it depends how you acknowledge it. Yeah, because I've seen it work really well for people where they get bigger laughs out of not getting laughs.
Yeah.
But if they own it, I saw a guy at one gig in Clapham. I forget what you call the club, but I don't know, he was just really unlucky because I didn't think his stuff was bad, but for some reason, I don't know if it was his timing or what it was, but everyone up until then was getting really big laughs anyway, and he just wasn't, but he was fucking owning this not getting laughs, and it was working so well. So then he did like probably the fourth joke where they hadn't laughed. And then someone laughed a little bit. He goes, "No, don't." Shh. I'm moving to the next one. And he just was, and I just thought that was so funny. I had so much respect for how he did it.
Yeah. I suppose at the end of the day, it's just about. The purpose is making people laugh.
Yeah, so, no matter how you do it, exactly. Yeah.
And then I guess some people, maybe some comics would say, well, it's about the quality of the laugh. But so I do a thing. I was listening back to a recording I made. I listened back to it yesterday. Of like a 10-minute set I did somewhere, and I do sometimes my act is very low energy, deadpan, and it creates like a tension in the room, and I can deliberately break the tension by breaking character, like almost laughing at just the ridiculousness of my character.
Yeah. I see that when you do that.
And then people really laugh, and I did it 3 times in this 10-minute set, and it was really effective. But I don't. It's difficult for me to work out whether I should be doing that or not, because I am breaking character.
But if it's working, it's working. But even the biggest people you can think of, they do that, where it's kind of like breaking the fourth wall or whatever it is, and it works for them. Just come to mind as well. You're doing this thing. I don't know. Is it a show you got coming up? This 2-in-1 balls.
Oh yeah. Ball 2-in-1.
I just love the idea. I just love it. The 2-in-1 ball. That's awesome.
Are you familiar with the detergent?
I know it. Yeah, you get the 2-in-1 bowls. Yeah. You've used the same kind of colors.
We've ripped off their packaging. Yeah.
Yeah. So once this is big, they're gonna. But they may ask you to.
I hope to promote it.
Yeah, exactly. Come on to our advertising, because that's where the money is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Involved.
I've been dreaming of detergent commercials since the very beginning. That's the way.
That's been the dream.
That's the dream. I just want to appear in detergent commercials.
Yes, yeah, and there you go, and you're starting to pave the way for it. I love it. And what I was thinking about was, how did this conversation come up with you and
with Jim?
Jim, yeah. So you and Jim, who said, you know what we should do? We should, because you get the thing where you're slapping each other on the head.
Yes,
is that what that is? Is it the 2-in-1?
That won't be what the show is.
That's not what the show is.
No,
so,
that's the slap head review.
That's the slap head review. Okay, sorry, two different things. But were you both sitting there and like looking at each other's heads and going,
I'd love to slap that.
What? Yeah, I would love to slap a ham on this.
Yeah, and I'd love you to slap me with a ham as well.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, do me. Oh, try the cheese.
You've nailed it. Yeah,
yeah,
that's we didn't actually record any of the more sensual stuff, but actually, so I did the comedy course with Jim.
So he did the same one.
Yeah,
okay,
so that's how I met him 2 years ago, and he's got a great work ethic, and he's really motivated and ambitious, and he's got loads of ideas. So he proposed we do some sketches together, and we were throwing some sketches out, and then I threw out this idea of the slap head review of slapping each other with the food. Yeah. But the way I thought of it was, we would be like two old guys in smoking chairs with, suited and booted. And it would be quite posh. And he said, now, how about we're German scientists? Right, so took it in a totally different direction. Yeah. So we had a very funny afternoon. He's going to post the outtakes of that, which make me laugh a lot. Yeah. But it's not the most sophisticated or complex stuff. But people tell me they're enjoying it. Yeah, yeah. And then he said, how about we also do a split bill show? So which is the bald, which is the 2-in-1 balls. So that's for Edinburgh, is it? The Fringe? Yeah, we're doing it in Brighton, and I think we're hopeful to do it in Edinburgh as well. Brilliant. Okay. So we've got 4 dates in Brighton, but that will be, I think the idea is that it'll be split bill, so we'll both do 20, 25 minutes, but there'll be hopefully a cohesiveness to it, so it feels like one show. Right. So bald will definitely be a theme. Yeah. Whether we slap each other, that's remains to be seen. That's good. I think it's a really good idea. You're taking what you've got. Yeah. And you're going with it. Yeah. If you've got it, flaunt it. That's what I say. Yeah. Exactly. The other thing that makes me think of, and you can edit this out if there's a weird. Here we go. If there's a weird thing to compare it to, which the more I think about it, I probably shouldn't have brought it up, but it's a weird thing there's a weird way for me to think about this here. Okay, but I saw this advertisement once for two guys, right? Don't take this wrong way. This should be interesting. I don't know if I should have even mentioned this, but there's two guys, and I also wondered how the conversation came up with these two guys as well. Yeah. Very different kind of thing, but basically they go around, they do a show, they go on tour where they both make things out of their penises. I had a feeling it was going in this direction. Did you think? Because I always wondered, how did that conversation come up? They make things out of their penises. Yeah, so like the Eiffel Tower and all this kind of stuff. And they go on tour. Like people come and pay for tickets and come and see them. And but they're two. It can't be a thing where you both are friends. You're like, let's see what we can do with our penises. It has to be a thing where you can do a thing with your penis, and you meet another guy, and you go, I do this thing with my penis. He goes, no way. I also can make like a dog out of mine, and then all this here, and a rabbit and things you got there. Okay, so it's like balloon art. Yes, so it's just because you both guys are doing the thing with your heads, and then I thought, I don't know why, I made me think of I always had the same wondering, let's say, of how they both got that conversation going. Well, let me know when these guys are performing in Kingston, we can go. Yeah, we can go watch it, and see, So, we can probably cut that right out, okay? Okay, happily. So it made me think of that for some reason. Back to the Fringe. Let's just bring it back to normal again. So you're thinking, have you ever done the Fringe? I haven't. Have you been up there? No, I've been there, but I've never. It just looks like a lot of material to get ready. Yeah. So this is why. This is part of the reason that when Jim proposed it, I jumped on it, because it's a stretch goal. It's it's putting pressure on me to. Yeah, to go exactly. And write, try and write every day, and then work that stuff up. And actually, something I'm finding really difficult at the moment is having the confidence to do new material.
Yeah.
Which is why, you know, your Sunday night is so good.
Yeah.
Well, there's many great things about it, but and it's funny because when we started out, everything we did was new material. Mm-hmm. And you obviously the nerves are associated with getting up and getting on stage, whereas now the nerves are, what if no one likes the new stuff? Shall I just do the old stuff?
Yeah. You can get stuck on old stuff for so long for that reason, isn't it? You know, that's where I find myself. Because I don't gig it regularly enough, if there is a situation where I'm like, oh, I better get back into it again, I'll jump up and do the same old stuff again because that's where I feel safe with.
Yeah.
But I find it getting less laughs than what it did, and I think it's because I'm so sick of saying it that comes across. Or
you're going through the motions,
you know. So I think it is good that you're stretching yourself. Whenever you say it, I'm like, I should really go and try and do a show, you know, and try and do it and stretch myself. But
do it with the cock guys.
Do it with the cock.
Yeah. They could always do with a third cock.
Like, what the fuck's he making here? Cocktail sausages? What is he?
Yeah, I think we did say we might cut that bit out, so that might not make any sense.
No, we're just going to leave that bit in.
Okay, we'll leave that bit in. Everyone, we want to, who are the cock guys?
Who the fuck are the cock guys? For more about the cock guys, click here or something. Yeah.
Put that behind the paywall, that bit, yeah.
So I think it's good that you're going to stretch yourself out and do that. And so you would need, if it's two of you, is it 1 hour? So it's 30 minutes each? Or?
Yeah, I think it'll work out maybe 20, 25 minutes. And we're going to have some other stuff around it. But yeah, so it's... I
think what puts me off the Edinburgh is just that all you ever hear is of how much money people lost going there. You know? I like the idea of it because most of what I do is working from home. So I could go there because you're only doing something at night time. So technically I could do it if I could get the time to put together that long of comedy.
Sure.
But,
I mean, it sounds like there's a lot, you know, beyond just actually performing the show. I suppose you're promoting it, you're flyering.
Yeah. That seems to be the big part, though, standing out there and flyering. Because what I thought was, because I've walked through and I just see everybody handing out flyers, and it seems like too much. Because then, like from a marketing perspective, what I would do is I would sit in the bar because I don't. Your flyer, you're going to tell me this is great because it's you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like Google it. So I thought, am I not just better if I was going to do it, just invest heavily in the digital marketing?
Yep.
And not waste my time out there. Not spend any time out there, just the digital. But I guess maybe, if I'm getting people into the Sunday show in Battersea, it is that moment where I'm outside immediately before it. That's where I'm getting people in because they're like, oh well, it's happening now.
Yeah.
So I might as well. So
I run. I also run a night in Clapham.
Oh yeah, you run the one in Clapham. Yeah, I done. Yeah.
Which
it's a really good night actually. Yeah.
It is a really good night, and
it's every week, is it?
We do it fortnightly.
Fortnightly, okay.
But so in terms of promoting it, we've been flyering, and we flyer the night before, and we did the other week. We did it 2 nights before as well, and you know, some people with comedy, there's so much admin, right? Well, there's as much admin as you can. There's as fuck, I can't get my words out. there's infinite amount of admin, and you can do as much admin as you want. And if you really want to, you could just do admin all day. Yeah. So it's nice to. I think it's important to try and control that admin, and one way of saving time could be to get other people to flyer for you. Or we tried the digital stuff, which I don't think led to anything. But I think when you fly yourself for your own night or your own show, you can have a connection with someone and sell it to them on that connection, right? You can click with someone, you have a laugh. Yeah. And I think that alone can persuade them. Yeah. So we've had success flyering where I've had a good laugh with someone and they've ended up coming.
Yes, it's that rapport, yeah. So I guess it does make a difference, the face-to-face. I just think that the face-to-face is important when it's also with timing, and there's that bit just before. Because if I'm convincing people at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or the day before, whatever, I'm just afraid that they're going to go, yeah, we really want to come here, but tomorrow it's yesterday's news. You know, they're on to something else now, you know. So I'd rather probably, instead of being out there all day for 10 hours flyering, I'd probably rather get 20 people to all work for just 15 minutes. Yeah. Just before it. And just, completely, just right outside there.
Like a flash mob.
Yeah, exactly. All wearing the T-shirt, all like some big guys, you know, and You ever see that video? I love it, where the guy's giving out the flyers, and it's like a marketing technique.
No.
Where he's got his friend working with him, so the friend comes along first, and he tries to give the friend the flyer, and the friend doesn't take it, and goes to walk on, and he grabs him and kicks him in the ass really hard.
Okay.
And then he goes to give the next guy a flyer, and the guy just takes it. And then they're all like grabbing it, they're all taking the flyer.
Okay.
So, genius.
I thought you were going to say it was like a stooge where they're super enthusiastic and like, oh, I heard about this show. You know, oh yeah, we'll definitely be there. Yeah. Not many tickets left. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, instead just assault them.
This was just genius marketing. Everyone was taking a flyer. You want to see one guy walks past, like, holds his ass.
Yeah.
Afraid of getting kicked.
No, I should try that.
Yeah. Damn. Okay, cool. Yeah. So what have we covered? Yeah. So you got the music.
So we got.
Cut.
Okay.
Ali, what was the other thing I was gonna?
I can tell you. You know what? I've got.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm back on. Yeah. I lost train of thought. Yeah.
So we're doing the Fringe, and then after, I'm going to try and do an adventure travel trip. That's my goal.
Yeah.
So we've had like 2 years of the comedy, and what I would like to do is I did a rickshaw trip that we were mentioning earlier, and I want to do another one of those, where you drive a rickshaw across Sri Lanka.
Oh yeah. So this is the tuk-tuk thing.
The tuk-tuk thing, yeah.
Across Sri Lanka. Why Sri Lanka?
Because I did it in India, and it was a lot of fun, and I haven't been to Sri Lanka. Have you been to either of these places?
No,
Okay.
neither.
I mean, the great thing about the rickshaw is that it is designed to break down. It's designed to break. It's super cheap. So it breaks down multiple times a day, and you just have the funniest interactions with people when it does. So I feel like I forced this into the conversation here.
Yes. No, that's good, because I think as part of the journey, actually, one of my Australia kind of things that I was doing is we also broke down.
Yeah.
No, we didn't break down. We ran out of petrol, and the reason why we ran out of petrol is we had no money. Mm-hmm. So we couldn't buy petrol.
Yeah.
So I remember we had pulled over. It was West Coast. We were trying to go up the coast. Realized we couldn't do it without petrol. So we pulled over, and then we just had to take all of our stuff and put it on the car, and then put a sign that said "Cool stuff for sale," written by me, marketing genius.
Yeah.
Cool stuff for sale. And I remember a family coming across, and they're like, I was trying to sell my brother's, I believe, Game Boy.
Wow.
Because there was a kid there, like, oh, look at the Game Boy. They kept looking at my tent. I need a fucking tent.
Yeah.
But I also needed the money. And then they're like, oh, how much is the tent? I said, have you seen the Game Boy? And they're like, yeah, the Game Boy is good, but we really want this tent. I guess, a tent? I mean, look at the Game Boy. And then they took the fucking tent for $20.
Okay.
And, but that cost petrol. So.
All right. Well, at least you could. I guess. Well, you can't do much with the Game Boy when you're cold at night, but.
Yeah, but you can do a lot with a tent when you're cold at night. But then I did sleep in the car instead.
Okay, that's
so. Yeah, that was.
You know, it reminds me that there's this. The guys who run the Mongol Rally, they're called the Adventurists, and they have a slogan that says, "If nothing went wrong, everything went wrong." And
I don't understand that quote.
It doesn't make sense, does it? No, but so I think often with these trips is when things go wrong, that's when you really have the fun. You know, like provided you've got.
Oh, when it goes wrong, yeah, that's when the adventure happens. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
And I guess you could say the same with comedy, right? It's well, I guess we all want the nights to go really well, but it's when they go badly, that's when you probably learn more. And
yeah, it's when you learn more. I know that when it's in my pub and it goes well, I'm actually happy it went smooth. It's when it goes wrong, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So the first one we did in Battersea, up until that point, because it had been the good weather, everybody was outside, nobody was really coming into the bar area, and then we did our first comedy night, just to test the water on the other side of the curtain. We wanted to see how it went, and we just got a massive stag party, decided to come and be right next to that curtain. And I just spent my entire time just stood here, just fucking stressed. I was like, hear them all. Whoo!
So they weren't in the comedy room; they were the other side.
They were just at the other side of the curtain, and the curtain doesn't really. They're soundproof curtains.
Okay.
I doubled up on them as well.
Soundproof curtains.
Soundproof curtains, yeah.
Okay.
I got a second one. They're quite expensive, but they don't really stop the sound that well.
Okay.
You know, I think it was sold magic beans in a way.
Right. And so was it disruptive having this stag group?
Yeah, luckily they didn't stay for the whole of it. So they just ruined the first half.
Sucks for those comedians.
For those comedians in the beginning, yeah. Luckily it wasn't that full, so we just kind of had people sitting at the more of the front of it.
Yeah.
But still, as I'm tasting the water, and I didn't want to put the big glass wall there yet to see, is it going to be a comedy venue, you know? 'Cause
Yeah.
I was still testing the water. We did music in the beginning. Nobody cared. Comedy, they seem to like it okay, so we're kind of going with that. But,
But I guess, and again, having this, the stag do turn up, you're going to have to adapt, and it's a learning experience, isn't it? If it just went smoothly, you wouldn't learn anything. And when something does happen, you wouldn't know how to deal with it. So.
To be honest, I didn't learn any techniques of how to deal with that, other than going out every night and going, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, keep it down. So the thing is, they're supposed to come much earlier. So it seemed like it was going to be fine. Like I said, called in advance, and I told and I was like, look at the times. I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. They'll be coming, because they said they had to be somewhere. I was like, right, that's fine. It'll be before the comedy. But then they pushed everything back by, I think, maybe 45 minutes or an hour or something. And I could just see all the just continuous flow of these shots going over. And I was like, oh man, this isn't going to be good. And then I could just hear all the shouting. And
maybe better that they weren't in the actual room. That's the silver lining.
No, it wouldn't be, because then if they were in the room, at least people would say, oh, there's people in this room watching comedy who are a little bit annoying. It's nobody's fault. Nothing you can do about that. But if they're outside the room, and then these people have paid to come watch comedy inside the venue, then it's like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
So
I see. So what's the most disruptive audience you've had, or audience member?
I don't really think. We've never really had. I don't think have we had any trouble. I mean, I've been gigging in here before and had like a guy just full on take a phone call.
Well, during the gig,
mate, he goes, yeah, I'm just in the comedy here, and I'm like on my 6th gig or something out there. I'm already stressed out trying to do it. And he's like, yeah,
while you're on the stage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's talking. He kind of walks. He stood up to take to walk towards the door, taking the call, going, yeah, it's all right, yeah. He goes, yeah. So and the barman was like trying to get the guy out. He didn't give a fuck. Didn't care. It was actually a weird night, that one. I had a weird heckle as well on the same night, and I was still brand new. And a woman, what did she shout? She shouted some random word out of Star Trek while I was doing a joke. And I turned around and I didn't even know how to respond to it because I didn't get the reference.
Okay.
Do you ever get that? How are you with heckles? Do you handle them okay?
I think definitely having been emceeing helps.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of taught me that it's okay. When you're performing, especially when you're starting out, your material is your comfort blanket, and you're just like, keep doing the material. Mm-hmm. And then when something happens, you don't know how to react to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem, yeah.
Yeah, whereas like having been emceeing at our night, the intention is don't do any material and just be in the moment, and I think that's helped. So I'm a lot better with things happening in the room. I had a guy at a show the other night come into the room while I was performing, and the entrance to the room was like a staircase that came up, so we were on the top floor, and the staircase opened out by the stage, and he just stood there, like basically almost in the middle, like on the front by the stage. Mm-hmm. And I had to acknowledge that this man was like standing staring at me. I was like, why didn't you take a seat? And he's like, well, there aren't any. I was like, all right, well, just stand there then. It was like it was really disruptive.
Just stand right there.
Yeah, okay, well, that seems like a good idea. And yeah, I had an act heckle me once. Oh. Yeah, an act who'd had quite a few drinks, and which was very unexpected.
Yeah.
But I think I'm better at it now. I think, just acknowledging what they said. I think Logan, on Logan's course, he said if someone shouts a heckle, even just repeating that heckle, people will laugh. And actually, I think if you're in the moment and you react to something and acknowledge something in the moment, you don't even need to say something that's funny. Mm-hmm. And the audience will laugh. Yeah,
it seems to be easy, kind of. I mean, not easy because I hate the idea of it at all, but that the audience are on your side and they'll laugh at less funny stuff if you've just retaliated at all.
Yeah.
And you buy the time by saying what they said so that the audience know what it was they said, so they know what it is you're replying to.
Yep.
And then... Yeah, that's also the same as just emceeing in general. If they say something, you repeat it so everyone knows what they said. Because I won't, I'll always forget that one.
Yep.
And there's a whole long conversation going on here, and no one knows what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah,
and like, shit, remember to repeat what they said. Fuck. Okay, here we're coming close to the end of the time here. We're going to wrap up because we're going to go and cook a burger in a second.
Wonderful.
Which I'm very excited about. It's the, what is it called? It's the Six Nations burger.
It's a Six Nations burger. Yeah. Seeing as the tournament is, I don't know when this video is going out, but the tournament is either coming up or is now happening or is finished.
One of those three options is what's happening. So this will be going out in February. The burger itself, if it won, would be going out in March. There's still be some time left of the Six Nations at that time.
Wonderful.
I mean, I don't show it. I'm going to be showing it in Battersea. So yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, and you don't have to. Instead of watching rugby, come to a smoked pub and eat a Six Nations burger. Yeah, much better.
And it will set you up for the match.
Yes.
Which you will have to watch on your phone.
Yes. There you go. Come and watch it on your phone in our pubs. Cool. Okay, Mark, thanks very much for your time.
Brilliant,
here.
thank you, Leigh.
And if there's anything you've got upcoming that you'd like to speak to this camera or that camera, camera about?
We run a night every fortnight, if it's okay to mention, in Clapham.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's in Clapham North, isn't it?
It's in Clapham North. It's called Armpit Comedy. We do it every 2 weeks. And yeah, all that, the acts are hand chosen. We have great headliners. And all the proceeds of the ticket money goes to the acts, which I think is a nice thing. And then we've got the Ball 2.0 or Ball 2-in-1 show that we're going to do down in Brighton. So yeah,
cool.
Come along.
Okay, check them out. See what's happening with Mark Moloney. Okay, thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Leigh.